Hey, good afternoon, evening, everybody. What's going on? Hope all of y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all had a good weekend. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are not particularly doing any trans or transamorous stories or anything like that kind of conversation. You know, but not every conversation needs to be that. We all have our different interests outside of all of this. And me, I'm a huge fucking nerd. So I love comic book stuff, the Marvel movies and DC, and I love Star Trek and all that shit. And me and my sister Anastasia, we are going to talk about MCU, The Walking Dead, and I'm repping all my black heroes today, so I'm definitely here for it. But I'm going to bring on Anastasia now. Where's Stacy? Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Welcome.
how are you? Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me here.
you're welcome. You are the first. I don't know. You're the first woman on this platform in a long time. Not a long time, but in a while. It's been a
Oh,
minute.
okay.
Did a whole lot of men conversations. So
Yeah, you guys
like I
need a
was
little,
need a little what?
a little feminine energy here.
Oh, yeah. So, and you know what? Oh, there's a lot of women out there who watch this platform who would agree with you. So, but we are going to pretty much jump right into it, because we are black nerds and we love this shit.
Yes,
So, what I really want to start out talking about really is the future of the MCU. For
right.
those of y'all who don't know, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the Iron Man movies and Avengers and all that stuff. And they killed off Iron Man. Captain America's gone. Thor is he's sort of around, like, but the pillars of what it used to be are kind of been taken away, and they're kind of in flux right now. Spider-Man is there, and he's doing this thing, but Black Panther's gone. Obviously, due to death, he probably would have stayed in, but it's I think the future of it is a little uncertain, and now Disney bought the rights to XMen, Fantastic Four. What else they get? Is it just
I
them
want to
two?
say they have, I want to say they have a Marvel entire catalog back,
Oh, and
except for
Blade.
complete, yes, except for the complete rights to Spider-Man. They still share those with
Oh yeah, with Sony, right?
Sony. Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah,
Sony.
because it's like because they still do the Venom movies and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
what? I Pie in the Sky Dream. Like, what would you want them to do with this universe? Like, what? How could they make it just as dope as it always was?
Um, so I feel like as good as it was, the it was a lot of they toned down a lot of stuff, or they Disneyfied a lot of stuff. They made a lot of stuff lighter. I
Mm-hmm.
think keeping stuff kind of truer to the comics, even though I know that isn't really going to happen, but um, introducing characters that um, have been there, like with the Avengers and stuff like that. There's so many different rosters of the Avengers, and they've started kind of
Yeah.
bringing people in that, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. They've been on the Avengers for a while, they just haven't been seen yet in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And with Falcon, he's been on there as well. So I feel like kind of resetting will probably be something that they have to do, just because all the heavy hitters and the pioneers of that franchise are gone now. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to rework it. They planned on reworking it around Captain Marvel. Now she was going to be the new center of a team kind of built around her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
I
with all
mean,
the absences,
she's got the powers for it, but Brie
yeah.
Larson is not a good actress. Sorry,
I
she's really
think
stiff.
she, I think she's an okay actress. I would never, I've never seen her in anything, so I'm not even gonna sit there and say that. She's
Okay.
okay for what they wrote, but that's not Captain Marvel because I grew up on Miss Marvel, so
Ah, yes.
she does not embody Miss Marvel at all. She embodies this hyper feminist version of Miss
Mm-hmm.
Marvel. Um, that they've kind of like masculinized, and I don't like that.
That's
I
fair enough.
don't.
You have a right to not like it.
Because
You don't
it's
have
dope
to
to
like it.
see, it's dope to see like a female character who is sexy. Like in the comics, there's always different things where she likes interior design, she likes fashion, and she's very feminine and sexy. But she still was the strongest person on the Avengers team. So I'm like, that's
Hmm.
dope. Like how dope is that to like hold all those different facets? You don't have to be a masculinized woman to be the most powerful person on the team.
Well, yeah, because they definitely gave her more muscles, and the hair got cut short because Miss Marvel used to have the long blonde hair, right?
Yeah, and she was
And
curvy. She had a smaller waist.
yeah,
She had bigger hips.
hmm
Big boobs and stuff like that. And even though I guess it could be like sexualized in women, I just like the contrast between how powerful she was versus how sexy she was. I thought that that was pretty dope itself. So
for sure.
I always like that aspect of it.
When I'm talking about the muscles and stuff, I'm really talking about the like how she's animated in comic books, not Brie Larson's
Yeah, yeah,
interpretation of
yeah.
it. Just want to be clear,
Ooh.
everybody out there saying, "Hey, nope, nope, nope," because nerd community, we love calling out shit that doesn't match up.
Like
So,
what? I mean, she's. I don't like the way she's built.
yeah, yeah, and look, I think they could have done better, but what's done is done, and the movie's not bad. Captain Marvel is not a horrible movie, and I think Marvel hasn't made any horrible movies in the MCU. I think they're all at worst average. They like Thor 2 was at worst average. That was not a bad movie. Not bad. Bad. You know what a bad movie is? That's Fantastic Four. That's a bad movie. Like
Which one?
average. The,
Or
the
both?
latest one with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh.
The latest one,
Oh
Michael
yeah,
B.
that
Jordan.
was
But
really bad. That was really
yeah,
bad.
but that's
That was really
bad.
bad.
Thor 2 is just average, really. They just the bar is set so high for the MCU. It's just like, oh,
I
this
think it's a
wasn't a
change.
masterpiece. What the fuck?
I think it's a change in tone because everyone
Mm,
says that their favorite is the last Thor movie because they changed
yes.
the tone and they made it more comedic. They made it lighter and stuff where he was kind of just a one-dimensional hero that was like honor and Asgard kind of thing. And then this
Yeah.
new director came in and changed the whole premise of it. People liked it more, so I think um, the tone switch is kind of what saved Thor. Because if they would have did that a third time, people would have been like, "We can see him in the Avengers movie. That's good. Like we don't need to
Right.
keep saying that."
For sure. I mean, I think the best part about the first movie though was him really learning life lessons. Like who he was by
Yeah.
the end of it was completely different. Like he went through a journey. And the third one, he kind of did that a little bit too. Like he
Mhm.
came to terms with his powers and really understanding his place and understanding what Asgard really is, and I don't know, he just I like his movies that transform him. That's why I like his movies. Captain America doesn't have that in his movies. He's always just Captain America.
He's always Johnny Straight Man, and I have a moral center the entire time, and I know right from wrong, and I know like,
I mean, he's
and I think
Captain
that's what
America.
it.
Like
Yeah, but
that's
it gets.
America. We think we know what's right and what's wrong, and we run around the world telling people what's right and wrong and getting other people's
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So,
he's way too preachy for me. I don't.
yeah.
I don't like
Well,
it.
look, actually, who's this? Mike brought up Blade. Blade is the man, and Blade would be absolutely amazing for the future of the MCU. I think they're making is it a
They
TV show
are.
or a movie?
I thought it was a movie, and they've already cast the person and everything. I cannot remember his
Yeah.
name, but they did
Mahershala
cast
Ali.
somebody. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mahershala
they had
Ali. He's
him.
he's good.
So
I feel like he got too famous too late because he's old. And it's like I first saw him in like 2005 on a USA series called the 4400. And he was a
okay.
really good actor. The whole thing was it was a time travel thingy, whatever. But he was a black man from the 50s, and like he just played his part really, really well. And
Mhm.
I just wish he would have caught on then. Really, I mean, obviously Wesley Snipes was Blade, but like they could have fit him in somewhere else. But I don't know. I'm just like I hate when I see guys and I'm like he can't play this part in 10 years. And Blade is supposed to be ageless.
Right.
And he can't pull it. Like Wesley Snipes could pull it off. This dude can't. I don't think he can. Maybe he can. Who knows? So who knows? What's going on, Ashley? But yeah, Blade. I think Blade needs to be like a central part. And actually, here's what I would love to see from the MCU in the future. I would love for them to really include all the TV Marvel characters, like Luke Cage, include the Defenders in the cinematic, like bring them in as Avengers. Like Luke Cage can be an Avenger. He's just as strong as Captain America. I mean, they got the Winter Soldier, but like,
right. I think what they're gonna try to do, because at the time of those shows, I don't think that Disney owned those either, and so mostly all the shows got canceled because now they're bringing them back. That's why they're kind of phasing them now into the Disney world. So I think that's what that was, and I know Disney is like we can tell from the way the series is that they have like this grand overarching like mentality. So they probably will have everyone like look at what WandaVision just did. That's straight from the movies going back to the movies. Like you know what I mean? And it even pulled Darcy from Thor into something where she was not. Like you know what I mean?
Yes.
So like I think they'll do things like that. It's just depending on where to place those characters realistically. In the different things. Like I think that they could do like separate movies as long as you kind of for whatever reason everything wants to happen in New York and every superhero everything. So
that's Marvel.
Yeah, so it's like as long as you reference something and kind of give like life to it in a movie and you mention something else, it's a connection where we can kind of see the scope of the entire world because it's not like well, isn't so-and-so in New York, and why are they never saying anything about them? Like, why do they never acknowledge it? Because if this is happening, where are these people who also are there? So I think I'm going to kind of do that now, where it's like from every perspective on cataclysmic events, they're going to be acknowledging something. Like WandaVision is going to be acknowledged in every, I think, Marvel movie that's out.
Yeah, and that'd be dope. I just, I hate that they weren't in that whole Avengers Assemble thing at the end of Endgame. Like, even Iron Fist with his little glowy gun thing or whatever he was doing at the end of that shit. Like, I'm just saying those people can handle themselves. Like, Daredevil probably would have got destroyed, but who knows? They had regular ass niggas from Wakanda in there fighting, and Daredevil has like,
I said Okoye was knocking niggas out.
Exactly. So like Daredevil probably could have did his thing. I mean, he got extra senses and all that stuff. So, they could have gave him some like vibranium nunchucks or whatever. Could have hooked him up with something.
It comes down to like, but if he needed there.
Did you see how many people were there? 4 more. Come on.
But the fact that they were already telling those people kind of gravitated to that event. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it was because
I would love to see what happened with them in the blip. Like if did Luke Cage blip away? And he comes back and now Harlem's a mess? That'd be cool.
Right. So, and that's what they did on WandaVision where they talk about the daughter from Captain Marvel.
Spoiler alert, if anybody hasn't seen WandaVision. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I haven't seen it, but you can tell the shit.
The daughter from Captain Marvel, Monica, she got snapped away. So the first episode is her coming back after the second snap brought everybody back. So I think they will incorporate a lot of things. Like I said, Marvel, the way they are now with those, the Feige brothers or whatever, they are very good at looking at one story from so many different aspects that I think that's what they plan on doing. I just want them to continue to kind of justice to people or do them justice in certain ways. I don't want them to I feel like if and when they bring the mutants in, they're still going to cater to the Avengers because Avengers is their first cinematic baby.
Yeah, they know where their bread is buttered. And, the mutants have done okay, but not Avenger okay. So, but that leads to the next topic. You know, how should the MCU add mutants to the equation? Is that them starting the whole universe over and then every mutants have been there the whole time? Or do they just toss them in and figure out a way to toss them in and continue, you know, the continuity that as like they have right now? So like add them to the world somehow, some way, kind of like they added Wanda and Pietro.
Right. I think for the people who like the movies, they wouldn't want it retconned.
Mm-hmm.
They probably want to keep the sacrifices and the big things that happen to people to have this huge character development. I think they still want that to happen. If that was to happen, I think the best way to bring in mutants was to be that they've always been there. Um, it's just the fact that like kind of like a cleaner, like a mutant cleaner throughout the different centuries that is the person responsible for mind wiping situations that happen with new powers, like when something happens in public, they come like, you know, like Professor would do these days. He would go to the situation, extract whatever mutants there to have like, you know, offer them refuge and then mind wipe the entire situation so no one knows anything. Like mutants have always been here, but they're covering the tracks to a certain point where it's like until they decide that they're ready to be like, 'cause, you know, for the first like 20, 30 years of the mutant thing, the school of Xavier's was not known to people. It was just gifted youngsters, but that didn't translate to everyone on the outside as mutants. They still had no idea that that was a mutant school. So
Yeah.
I think they could do it that. I think that would be the simplest and most respectful way because you don't want mutants to be the byproduct of like Wanda or the Snap, like because that does them a disservice in a way. To like Apocalypse is 5,000 years old. He's been here since like you know it would fuck up those characters' whole backstory.
Mm. Mm. And would I just don't think there's a way to do it well. It's gonna be half-assed like Marvel does shit. All their shit is half-assed. And what I mean it's half-assed like the Civil War was half-assed because they didn't have everybody. Like they were making sacrifices to how great things can be, just because you know we have to fit it in movie business shit. Like I don't know. I just think like the Civil War and I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do this secret invasion. Like, so the scrolls are good guys now. I don't know what's happening here. What's going on? Um, I hope they figure out a way to do it. But I mean, Captain America's gone, so can they without him? Isn't he supposed to be like the traitor or some shit like that? Or
He. So yeah. I
yeah,
don't know how they would do it
it's
based
just
off of
not.
what.
There's no good way to do it, y'all. Like, there's no good way to do it. I say retcon the whole fucking thing. Start over from ground zero. Get you a new Iron Man. Get the Fantastic
Then
Four in
recast
there.
everybody.
Yeah, start it all. Like do this last phase. Wrap it up. They really should have wrapped it all up at Endgame. Should have left it right there. Done. That was a great ending to all that shit. And then they could have waited like 5, 6 years and then started over with the first round of movies. And maybe Iron Man isn't one of them. One of the first phase. Maybe Iron Man comes a little bit later because Iron Man is only popular because that's all they had left. If they had their A team, Iron Man would be like Ant-Man. Like he'd be an extra
How though?
character.
He's always been integral in the Avengers world.
Yeah, but like I'll say it like this. When it was time to sell off your best properties, who did you not sell off? Iron Man. XMen take the forefront. Spider-Man steals the show all the time. Blade is cool, I don't know. But Fantastic Four takes the forefront as well. Iron Man is a piece of the puzzle, but he's not like, you know, head nigga in charge. Like not even close.
I
No?
guess
Okay, fine. All
in
right.
the
I mean,
comics,
I
no,
know
you
he
have to think
leads
about like
like okay.
in the comics, he has a big role in the Avengers. He's still like a senior member. He
Yes.
still comes up with like all their tech, and even with this whole thing that they try to do with WandaVision and stuff like that, the comics that it's based off of,
Hmm.
um, they've missed the opportunity. Maybe they'll do that with Multiverse of Madness. Probably not. I don't see any X-Men, but
What about
it
that
was
Doctor
a
Strange movie?
yeah, that's Multiverse of Madness. That's what they call it.
Okay.
That's what they're
Like
calling it.
Tony Stark
But
coming back in it could be dope.
it required like that in the comics. It required the X-Men and the Avengers to decide what they're going to do with Wanda because um, she's a mutant, but she's an
Hmm.
Avenger. So how do we handle this problem? I can't see that coming. Sorry.
Oh, and Aaron Colvin says, I think the multiverse will play strongly in Secret Invasion. And Rena
Oh,
says
probably.
he's an original founding member, though. Correct, correct,
He
and
is. Yes,
correct.
he is.
You
Yeah.
know, it's I guess as the casual fan coming up in the '90s, I saw the little Iron Man cartoon, but it wasn't X-Men. Definitely wasn't Spider-Man. Like, you know, I picked him
No.
on the fighting games and stuff, but it was just like, who are the like more popular folks that I like want front and center? I wasn't really thinking him,
Right.
but
No,
nobody
because
was thinking until Robert Downey Jr. showed up. I
that's
just,
very true. I think it's because Marvel X-Men was Marvel's bread and butter comic wise for decades. The
mhm.
Avengers kind of had a backseat to the X-Men, but then when 20th Century Fox got the rights to it, and then
Yep.
Marvel had their own rights, Marvel had to pivot and now make the thing that they own the most important. Um, and when they started to acquire their rights, you could see how bad the X-Men movies got. The more that
Oh
they
yeah.
got closer to the deal of acquiring them, like Dark Phoenix as opposed to Captain Marvel the movie, and they were filmed at the same time. But technically, Marvel did own them, but that was the last 20th Century Fox one. Like it was trash. So I
It
think it
was
comes down
bad.
to
Um, yeah, it was all bad. Look, after they hit a home run with Days of Future Past. I know it's not the correct interpretation of that either,
mm,
but they hit a home run with that movie. It was good. And then
it was the
Apocalypse
best
kind of sucked.
written. It was the best written one. It was the best handled one because it was the first one to bridge the original trilogy to the new one.
Yes.
So I think it was such a big thing because you saw James McAvoy, I think his name is,
Yes.
and Patrick Stewart having a conversation. So it's like
Yeah.
you see the two things. So that was big in that
Finally,
way.
there's a universe. Like there was
Right,
no.
and it's like there's a story to tell, and finally, just instead of like random events.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm very protective of the X-Men, so I really want them to be brought in the MCU in such a way where it keeps the integrity of mutants have always been here. They're not the product of some psycho witch. They're not the product of any Infinity Stones. They're always been here, and let's like give respect to that. So
Because
I'm a
they
little
need the
iffy.
discrimination. They need their discrimination story to really be
Right.
the X-Men. Like for the mutant story to go along, you have to have the discrimination and their hardships.
Exactly. You need to have them always there because, like, Apocalypse's story only makes sense
Mhm.
if you had him 5,000 years old and how he's built up to the big massive character that we know him as now, and why he feels the way he does about humans and mutants, and even why he feels like weaker mutants should be like sacrificed and stuff like this, but he is whatever. Like that only makes sense if he's a 5,000-year-old person that's already been walking this earth, not something that was the
Mhm.
byproduct of a snap or Scarlet Witch's mental breakdown.
Gotcha. Well, yeah. So X-Men in the MCU. We hope it happens. I just hope it's done well. But however it happens, I'm still gonna watch. We're too deep into this shit to stop watching. So
No,
they have
really.
Marvel has got us all by the balls, and we can't do shit about it. We're going to keep watching. It's kind of like anime, where you're watching an anime and you're like, "Fuck, I'm on episode 200. I can't quit. No matter how much filler they put in, I have to continue to watch." So I'm at that point with the MCU right now. I got to take whatever shitty movies they put out. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
that's how it
good.
was.
They're not shitty. They're just I have to watch them all.
No, they're not shitty. The X-Men one started getting really bad, and I kept watching it because I liked them. Like especially like the second trilogy, like after First Class, like I didn't like any of the casting. Like
Mhm.
Alexandra Shipp as Storm was like the worst thing.
Well,
Olivia
actually, let's
Munn
do
was
that.
the worst thing.
Let's go there with Storm right now. Since you brought her up, we got to do this. In 1 second, I'll make this banner real quick. Uh, so this I don't think I spelled her name right, but this is a problem.
That's right.
Halle Berry's casting as Storm. Little weak, little weak. Didn't really embody the goddess, aesthetic of Storm that people were expecting, or people that are fans of the comic books and even just previous media really expecting. But I know you got a whole thing about this, so I'm just hands off with it.
Okay, so my stuff is kind of controversial. I think that Halle Berry was a fine casting choice had she been written a part that was correct to Storm's character. I don't think the Storm that they wrote was a Storm that would have been anything else other than what Halle Berry gave. I think another person given that same role would have not done the same thing, but it would have been the same amount of disappointment. But she wasn't
Mhm,
written as someone that you could see that in. Like it
mhm,
just wasn't there for her it wasn't there for her to give because they didn't put it on the plate for her to give it. Like I just don't feel like it. I know a lot of people are upset about like the colorism that played a part in her casting, her being because people really forget that Halle Berry is biracial, so they kind of like lose that because she always identifies as a black woman, which she is. But I think the colorism kind of upset a lot of people, and again, my comment may upset a lot of people, but Storm has been drawn very different ways throughout the entirety of the comic, and the first time that she was drawn, she was not dark skinned. She was like a light brown
was that
skin.
the
To be
Mohawk
honest,
version?
no, she had long
Oh,
hair. She was really, she was in the Serengeti. She was in Africa. Her color probably is more closer to like Michelle from Destiny's Child. If I could like pick somebody off the top of my head, she's like a lighter brown skin kind of person, but she's not dark skin. She didn't get dark until almost the 80s, and she's a character from like the six, like 70s and stuff like that. So
mhm.
she was for about a decade before they made her dark skin, and even after that, she got light skin again. So it depends on the artist, but I feel like they don't know how to cast Storm because her character is regal, a goddess, and how do we make this approachable without her being some um holy cow? Like you know what I mean? Like how do we make her um feel three dimensional without make because she's this regal, touchable, always above it, moral compass person. And I think they're
Mhm.
like, how do we do this? Like how do we make the person even interesting if she's the goddess? Like how do we make her even need this team if she is the goddess? How do we have these conversations with her if she's the goddess? So it's like I think they kind of have to bring her character down to like earth with Halle Berry's iteration of it. Um, and a lot of people just felt disappointed, and I felt disappointed. But I think Halle Berry could be fine if they gave her something to write. I understand some people are upset about Halle Berry's coloring and things like that, but
Well, I felt like there was a missed opportunity. I think you brought it up earlier or before the stream. You brought up Angela Bassett, and
right.
obviously she would have been a much better choice for that role, but because she has that regalness and she has that intensity in her acting, and I think I remember back to like X2, and when they're in the
Hmm.
plane, and I think Nightcrawler was talking about forgiving people and whatever else, and like that was Halle Berry's moment to really show oppression and hurt and all that stuff, and it didn't really translate. She just didn't have it in her to give. And I know Angela Bassett would have been a lot more intense. You would have seen that on her face in the way that she would portray that.
I agree. I agree with that. My um, issues with both Halle Berry and Angela Bassett are the same thing except opposite. Whereas Angela Bassett's acting is her tool, and sometimes she can overuse her tool. There are plenty of instances.
Mhm,
I know she is our holy grail and our queen, and I love Angela Bassett. I absolutely do. But there are times where she overacts. It's too much for what's given scene or given whatever is. And it's not her fault. It's her flexing her tool however she sees fit. And sometimes it's overly done. Halle Berry has the opposite, where she's comfortable in these certain roles, but she can't completely reach the intensity that Angela Bassett has. Um, I kind of think she has it the same way I kind of think Angela Bassett has a subtlety that she just needs to sit in to make it a little bit more natural. And I think Holly Berry has the intensity. It's just that I think you cast them for those things. You don't allow them to grow as people. You say this role is perfect for Angela Bassett instead of saying this is a great role. Let's give it to Angela Bassett. It's like, no, this is a strong, intense person. Let's give it to Angela Bassett. Where I think she can
Mm-hmm.
play soft. I think she can do that, but they don't. In Holly Berry, like, let's give her a chance to be intense, but they don't give her those intense roles. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't do that. So I think it's a toss up.
Well, we got a suggestion here in the comments. I
Ooh,
want to take this banner down real quick because I'm not gonna lie, I was on this, but then I kind of there's the look. I think the look is there. Mike, shout out to Mike in the Real Talk podcast. He thinks Dominique Jackson could
I
be cast as Storm. She has
I
the
I
statuesque
had the
figures, cheekbones.
conversation.
Yeah.
She she is the Patrick Stewart Professor Xavier of Stormy. In look, and you know how
Yes.
Patrick Stewart was
Yes.
perfect.
Yes. Yes.
She would be the perfect Storm in presence and her affected accent, the way you can still hear her, the way she talks, but it's kind of Americanized, and she can kind of in that
Mm-hmm.
space. And Storm has been in America for a certain amount of years, where it's kind of the same thing. I think the only thing, if we're going off of physicality, the only thing where Dominique would lack this Storm is hella thick, hella thick,
Fair
hella
enough.
thick.
Fair enough. But
But
Dominique got her.
that's the only aspect where I think that she would lack in, and it's not necessarily a lack. But if you're going like true extremely to the comics and you're looking for like 100%, she is not as thick as Storm. Storm is thick like cold oatmeal, like that. She got that like.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so that would, but I think that she could be a really great Storm. Um, I've seen some of her snippets on American Gods, so I think she's very comfortable
Hmm.
in like sci-fi, fantasy kind of places. So I think she could um, go there if given the opportunity. It's just about her getting the opportunity. But
Yeah.
I also think she would be. I think she would be dope,
Yeah. I think she would
dope
be
as
great in that
Storm.
role. Well, I'm sorry. I think she will look great in that role. And she has the look, the cheekbones, the that presence of just really being regal in that sense, and she can do it. But the problem is, nobody at me over this, but this is my fucking shit, so I'm gonna say what the fuck I want. Uh, Dominique is not the best actress. I'm just saying. I just don't think she has the look, but I don't think she has the acting chops to really kill it in the way that it needs to be killed. And it would come across. I haven't seen her on American Gods, but just from what I've seen on Pose, I'm just like, I like her and what she's doing, but it's not movie Marvel MCU quality. She's not there. She's not there for a team leader. A team leader, because she's second to Scott, right? Like Scott's the leader, and then she's like number two,
Um,
right?
in some stories, yes, 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 yes. She's
Okay.
a very high ranking. She's a X-Men elder, so she comes
Yes.
of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
she can probably get it done. I'm just thinking, like, judging from Pose, I don't. We love Community and all that shit, blah blah blah. But everybody has been saying this off camera. Nobody said it on wax except for me. But not everybody on the show, not everybody was the best actors. Let's just be real. So, I mean, maybe if she, look, she can go and take a couple months and train and do whatever else, and she might come back and knock this role out of the park. But judging by what I saw on that show, it's not there. That's all I'm saying. I love how she looks for it, though. She's perfect. She is Storm. She is Storm. Just like
if
Patrick
you
Stewart
could,
is Professor Xavier.
right, I feel like okay. So if we're basing it on like Elektra,
Yeah, I said it
I
right.
think she would more fit if they didn't care about color and race and taking all that aside, then Elektra is essentially Emma Frost. And so she could be a really good Emma Frost because you're going to take
Okay.
Elektra and literally pour her into the Emma Frost role. Emma
Yeah.
Frost is
Mhm.
a high class, spoiled, egocentric, self-centered, telepathic diva. Like she's all of those things.
Yeah.
Um, so I think Dominique could fit in that role for that. I don't know. Like I don't necessarily.
Do you think the
Um,
nerds would like? Do you think all the white nerds would like raise holy hell if they cast her as
oh
Emma?
my God! Yes, 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 yes. Oh my God! That would they would probably burn something down at that point. I
They would turn.
wholeheartedly believe that
It would be like
all
Minneapolis all over again.
all the little white boys and all the white nerds who jerk off to Emma Frost would be so upset of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because her appeal is, and this, I guess it's funny that I'm saying it, but the blonde hair and the big titties. So like that's her thing. That's how she's physically recognized is her
Mm-hmm.
platinum blonde hair and her big titties. Like that's how you're easily going to recognize her. And of course, she wears all white all the time.
Yes.
Um, but I mean, I don't think there was an issue with Dominique acting on Pose. I will say, I think people get her accent fucked up with her acting ability because they say the way
Mm-hmm.
she says things, it doesn't seem like, like she's acting. But talking
Mm-hmm.
to people who are from other countries and other, like, West African countries, when they come here, when you hear them talk, they talk just like her. And it almost seems like they're performing the English language. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I
Yeah.
think she does a really good job acting. I just think that people equate her accent and how she talks with her acting ability.
Look, I'm sure she'll get it done. Just do
But
it.
look
It's
at
just
people in the MCU. Those people aren't Academy. I think the only person that has an
gotta be.
Academy Award is Brie Lawson, and you already said how you feel about Brie Lawson.
Yeah,
She's
she's
the
really
only
stiff.
person. Oh, and Jennifer Lawrence, that's the X-Men. But I have another problem with Jennifer Lawrence. The X-Men.
Well, first off, everybody don't because people like to watch my shit and then have their paraphrase and misquote and all that shit. So do not run around saying that you don't fuck with Dominique Jackson. I absolutely love that chick. I loved her on Pose. I thought she did a great job on the show. I loved her character and I loved how her character grew and transformed. But I would just hate to see her be cast in the role and she doesn't knock it out of the park. I would be I just don't want to see that. So that's what I'm really, was hoping to avoid. So anywho, if people do these things. So next topic. I'm sorry, I got a little agenda. So yes, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. But we're just gonna talk about the bad casting choices in X-Men movies right now. So actually I think yeah, because everybody loved Rebecca Romaine. But then Jennifer Lawrence wasn't really like loved that much in this role.
I no, I love Rebecca Romaine. Rebecca Romaine is one of the few models turned actresses that actually is a good actress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they didn't give her much to work with, however. Like she was more. It was about her fight scenes and how smoothly that Mystique does these things. She didn't really have like a meaty speaking role. But how she presented herself in that role when she was on screen was dope. Um, she sat in the pocket. Like that's, I guess you could say that's like kind of taking what you know about character and bringing that, even if there's no speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because she sat in Mystique, even when she laughed with Magneto on the helicopter, you can see like her nature of like these people are so fucking whack. Like they're trying to save humans. Like y'all got to do better. It. She brings it there even just through like little things. I think she was dope. Jennifer Lawrence
Kwame
was
has a
not the
thought before
one.
you start. Kwame has before you kill her. He says they didn't give Jennifer a good Mystique to act.
That was the point that I made. However, I also don't think, and I don't want anyone to think that I don't like Jennifer Lawrence because I really like the Hunger Games and some other shit
Yeah.
that she was in. Her voice, I don't like her voice for Mystique.
Okay, fair enough. You're
I
right.
don't
All
like her
right.
voice for Mystique. Like I don't like because she has such a distinct voice. Um, I don't like it. I don't like the characters how they wrote Mystique. Mystique is not a hero. She's never been a hero except for during M Day in the comics for a brief second before everybody got their memories back that she was a hero. Um, she's not even an anti-hero. She is a self-serving opportunist. And that's why we love her though. Like we love her that she's like the number one person in Mystique's life is Mystique. And if Mystique wants to do anything, guess what the fuck Mystique is gonna do? Whatever the fuck she wants to do. Um, she'll kill anybody. She'll rob anybody. She'll lie to anybody. She'll abandon anybody, aka Kurt. She will ruin anybody's life, aka Rogue. So she's not above sacrificing any and everybody else to get what she wants. That's her character.
She's completely amoral.
Completely. The only thing that you can count on Mystique is that Mystique is gonna look out for Mystique. Period. So
not to be
I
trusted.
I don't like what they did to her. They made her some hero, and it took away so much that could be done with her character from the other side, the opposition of what she could have done. They made her. I can't even describe it. They made her like some martyr, but especially with Dark Phoenix. Like it was like, and then I get it for the drama, but that's not even how her powers work. If she gets stabbed through the chest, she doesn't even keep her heart in her chest. That's amateur in the first place. She does not keep her heart or her organs anywhere here. Usually she keeps her heart in like her foot or in her wrist or something like that. She does not do that. But all she has to do is pull herself off and, you know, switch and go back to herself. And she's completely healed. That's all she has to do. Because the way that her molecules regenerate. So Mystique is
Oh, sorry, you said it. Yeah.
Mystique don't play about getting nothing done.
For anybody who doesn't know who Mystique is, for whatever reason, she's the blue lady. She's the blue one that can change into people.
Then you aren't living right. You definitely are not living correctly.
You didn't watch Fox Kids in the 90s?
Then you probably had a really bad childhood.
Oh, Lord. But you know, I would like her to be like older if they bring her in the newer movies. Like I want that older Mystique, like not the young just coming up. I want her to be an established, you know, shifty badass.
But that's the thing that pisses me off. Mystique is just as old, maybe a little bit older than Wolverine. Like people keep like she's not some like how they portrayed her that her and Charles grew up. She was already a fucking adult when Charles was a child. Like she's from like the 1700s. Like she's not a young thing. Like she just does not age, and her cells regenerate like Wolverine does because of her power to switch her look. They just keep regenerating. And so yeah, like she's not that young naive person. Like she has not been that person since she gave birth to Kurt, which people don't really know that Kurt is kind of old because she had him young.
Yep.
But yeah, like
so
I don't.
Well, here's the thing about and we're gonna just switch gears real quick here because this is something that needs to be addressed.
Oh God. Okay.
For all of you out there, hopefully you've seen XMen First Class. That was the first of like the new trilogy for whatever part, like of the new string of X-Men movies. So it started out when everybody's young and they're just starting like to try and build the X-Men and whatever else. And you know, it was an origin story, which was pretty good. So they had all the mutants together. And you know, they got all the the white kids and they having fun. They got one black guy. And the black guy's name is Darwin. You know, his whole thing is adapt to survive. He can dunk his head in water, grow fish gills, or whatever he does. Like you throw him in a volcano, he'll walk right out that shit. Like his body will change to survive any environment. So no matter what it is, his body's going to alter itself so it can survive that incident. So you know, the crazy thing is he is an actual character, and like they killed him off before he could be a character in the movie. So it's like, yeah, we got one black guy and he's dead. It's kind of that old sci-fi trope where the black guy goes first. It's just
In the
like a
scary
wasted
movie, the black
opportunity.
person is the first one to die.
Yeah.
That was disappointing. Like that was so disappointing because not only was it like okay, the only black character that you had there, and honestly was probably the most gifted actor out of that group. Low key, I'm not
Hmm.
even gonna hold them on it. He was the most gifted actor in that group of people. Um, that's not how his character's powers work. Like they really played with him in that movie. Like
He
we don't
died quick
understand.
as
Like
fuck.
Darwin, adaptability is what his thing is. Like literally the only way that he can be killed is by a cosmic level person that's burning away his existence or getting rid of his molecules faster than they can regenerate or comprehend what's happening.
So this is the guy right here, y'all. This
Yeah,
is the actor right here. He's a really, really good actor.
yeah.
And yeah, like so he. Okay, that's not a good one. But you see, he's got the fish gills because he stuck his head in water, whatever else. But yeah, it's just like cast of kids, and then yeah, it's just sad because this was the moment right before he died.
Yeah, like, and it doesn't make sense, like, because I'm gonna connect two stories and bring it. So, like, his power is to adapt. That anything that anything that he needs for survival, or that he needs, like, instinctively, his body will adapt and come up with a way in order to get it done. So,
Hmm.
like you said, the gills and stuff like that, and even in the comics, like, the Juggernaut is the unstoppable Juggernaut. Um, so nothing can stop him. So it was an instance where he was running at Darwin, and his body can't come up with anything that will stop the Juggernaut because the Juggernaut isn't a mutant. His powers are mystical, so he cannot be stopped. There's nothing that Darwin can adapt to that's going to stop him because that's kind of like a magical thing. It just won't. So the way his powers adapted for him was they gave him the power to teleport out of the way. He didn't see another way and he teleported out of the way. So there's nothing that you can actually do to him that's going to fuck him up because his body will instinctively move him out of the way.
Hmm.
And so
So
that ball of energy, he just would have
yeah.
expelled it. He would have expelled the energy. He wouldn't have held it and he wouldn't have cracked. It was a bomb. He would have turned into, there are metals that are bomb resistant. He would have done something, but more than likely he just would have expelled it. That's the only thing that I can think of that, because he has done that in the comics where they try to do that. And that leads
Hmm.
me into Bishop in Days of Future Past when all those Sentinels were blasting
Yeah.
him with energy, and I'm like, not how his powers work. He can dispel the energy at the same time that he gets it. So you're looking to kill him off for the sake of this man being black.
Yeah. Like Bishop, he takes in energy and expels it. Like that's what the fuck he does. So
Right. That's what I was like, what?
yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
don't know. They just be doing the black heroes wrong sometimes. It's
No,
like, how did y'all
seriously.
get this so wrong?
Like no, and like even to go back since we're like talking about like the black, like even Storm with Toad on the first X-Men, you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
This shouldn't even be a fight.
Wait a minute. Like no, because it's like, and I think they downplay her powers because she is so powerful
Like
in her
God
powers.
level.
Yeah, like people don't know that she has like such a fine tune over her powers where like she can pop your eardrum from the air pressure in your ear. She doesn't need to slowly decrease the temperature. Storm can flash freeze an entire area. So it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you making our black characters that are so dope and so powerful like these fucking? Oh no, like sorry about it. Like I gotta go. Like no, that's so fucking whack to me. Like Darwin, no. Bishop, no. Like that's not how that goes. That's really
Mm-mm.
not how that goes.
I think this is Michaela here, saying that Darwin is one of the most powerful mutants, and Eva Storm is a dark-skinned black woman. And we did cover that earlier, and apparently one of her earlier iterations wasn't completely that, but look,
Yeah.
that's what we know. That's what the majority of people know, and they gotta. the success of these movies is largely built on devoted fans showing the fuck up.
Right.
And once it works with the fans and they rave on YouTube and all that stuff, then everybody else is in.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. We gotta do better with our representation here. But shifting gears away from the X-Men, because I had one thing that I really needed to discuss. And we're shifting gears. We're not talking X-Men anymore, y'all. We are on to The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. I was a devout watcher of it. I would watch it after the season ended. So like pretty much whenever they put it on Netflix, I would like binge watch the whole season. And get it out the way, and not get it out the way, but just really enjoy it and love it. And then, I was doing that up until a certain moment in the show. There is a character on there. His name is Glenn, and he is pretty much executed. They have this big cliffhanger, like who is going to get beaten to death with a bat, and they have all the different. They're showing all the characters, and they're like, who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? And Glenn has been there since the beginning.
Episode
and they just
1.
Like, yes. Yes. So they killed him off, and it felt so gratuitous and random, and like it felt like they were really reaching, trying to be edgy. It felt so frivolous, So that put a sour taste in my mouth, and after that shit, I stopped watching the show. I just went back to it like a couple weeks ago.
I don't have anything positive to say. That's when I stopped watching it. Literally that episode, and I was like, oh, well, fuck this, I'm done. Like, I didn't even make it through the whole episode after he was killed. I was like, oh. Yeah. And I cut it off. Like, I was like, this is...
Like, I don't know how they thought that was going to keep fans around. Like, I get characters die in the show, but, like, it just felt so senseless. Like, if Abraham died, cool, he's new. Kill him, fine. Kill I'm sorry, keep going. Okay.
No, I just didn't get, like, and I get for writing, like, how they want to shock value, I guess, or something like that, but I did not like it because, to me, every story, in order to have conflict, like, it has to have conflict, but you also have to have a moral compass to have conflict. Otherwise, chaos doesn't really breed a story. It's just chaotic for the sense of being chaotic. You need a center to say what is chaotic. If this is the moral, then everything around it is chaotic. You can understand how far things have gotten fucked up. And Glenn was that center to be like, okay, guys, we went through a zombie apocalypse. We lost so many people. But let's not be fucking animals. Let's not be fucking assholes. Let's not just give up. Let's try to retain some sense of, like, whatever. And, like, the fact that they killed him off, they lost that. And it was more so, really? This is what we're doing? Like, unnecessarily, like,
it was frivolous as fuck.
Yeah, like, I just have stuff, like, that was the part. I started wavering around, like, Alexandria time, though.
Oh, really?
And it was because, like, Sasha, the character Sasha,
I
think she's in Star Trek Discovery now or something.
Yep, she is.
Yeah, but I liked her character a lot, like, when she first came up on the scene. And when, like, I think it was, I can't remember his name. I think his name was Bob. He died. The guy that she was in love with.
Wait, who
was that his name? Is that his name? Bob the doctor?
Wow, I don't remember Bob the doctor, but yeah.
I think he was a doctor or something, some kind of medical, but, like, he died because he got bit by the zombie, and then those people ate his leg, and then all of that stuff. Then her brother died when he was bit.
Oh, yeah.
Went to that. And I don't like how they made her character so damaged. I have a problem when they continuously write Black women as unable to accept, like, change, or unable to, like, get past grief, and they go right into anger, and they go right into, like, just unhealthy coping mechanisms and stuff like that. I didn't like that's how they portrayed her. with her grief. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of her being kind of like more hopeful, which I would have like appreciated, and her stepping up and kind of being this different character, and now like loving on her new family in such a way because she lost these two important people, she kind of like regressed into herself. She became angry.
Mhm.
She became secluded. She wanted to go out and needed to kill the walkers and needed to live that dangerous life because it's like, how else do I feel anything because my two most important people are gone? I just don't like when they write black women as so immovable and so unadaptable from change and heartache that they're just these angry creatures now. They can't get past it.
Mm.
It hurts so much that they can't do anything. And I really did not like that. That was kind of like fucking it up for me. That I was like, she's getting on my nerves. And I
Yeah,
know it's
she
not
was way
her. I
less
know it's
likable.
the yeah, and I know it was her. I know it was the way they were writing it because they were writing
Hmm.
shown the opposite. So I don't know if they were using them to like polarize each other to see the difference of what this amount of pain and this amount of pain and how Michonne wanted it to work and how Sasha couldn't make it work. Um,
Hmm.
I did not like it. I really didn't.
Well, okay, so they fucked up, the black female character, but the show has a history of not look, Rick, strong man character, hangs around. These black men do not hang around. And like the only one that did survive was the coward that killed his congregation because he locked them out.
Oh,
Like
the
the
pre-fight.
priest, yeah, the priest, but it's
Yeah.
like, really T Dog. I mean, just some random ass like whack ass gangster name. So I don't even know how that works. Fine. And then he literally has like a couple lines here and there. Like he says something like twice in a season, maybe. But he's just a background character. He's there. It's like, yeah, we got a black guy, but he's not important. We got other stories.
He's there to add his muscle and to save the group. Like, you know what I mean? He's there to
Yeah.
provide that barrier between the extinction of the group um,
Hmm.
and like annihilation. And I don't like it. I didn't like how they did him either because
It was
he was
whack
also
as
like
fuck.
episode one or episode two
Hmm.
has been around these characters, but you don't see him. You see him emotionally invested in them, but you don't see them emotionally invested in him
Yep.
until his death, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, it was such a big loss of T Dog, and I'm like, where the fuck was this energy? Like, what? You've never.
Did
What's his
nobody give a
name? What's
fuck
his
about T
name?
Dog?
All right, what's his name? Like you, it's like
Yeah,
how like Rick took it so hard when T Dog, like you know what I mean? I'm like, well, why? You didn't even fuck with. I didn't even hear you. You never even carried a conversation with this motherfucker.
really. And like
Like unless it was
Carol
group,
only cared right at the end.
right? When her
Carol,
life
I
was on
mean,
the line.
you know, we're gonna get in that character later, but because I want to finish this T Dog thing. It's like really he died sacrificing himself for the group, but it was really I think that was just them saying, okay, well, we're getting flack for having this useless ass black character here, and we need to cut it. Like it's kind of like, yeah, we're in this bad relationship, and it just needs to be over with. It's like
I
time to part ways.
Yeah, I don't didn't like how they did it, and I noticed that probably the second season. I think
Mhm.
because second season was when they were more so at the farm. When they first got to Herschel's farm, and you're
Mhm.
like, they're living in like really close quarters, and they actually have time to kind of like relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is his character development? Like, you know what I mean? I don't want
Yeah.
to keep hearing about Lori and her maybe baby. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't. Like,
She was a very annoying character for me. I did not like Lori or any parts of her story.
a lot of people didn't like Lori. I didn't necessarily I see an issue, but then I didn't, but then I did, but then I didn't. I don't know. But I think like she was important to me. It's not like I had an issue. I just
Hmm.
didn't care. I really
Yes.
didn't care about Lori. Like, you
Yes.
know what I mean? I'm like, she's Rick's wife.
Hmm.
Okay. She's not particularly and not to be shallow, she's not particularly pretty, she's not particularly interesting, she's not particularly um like anything. Like, you know, she doesn't particularly say anything that's so monumental or so thought provoking. Like I'm like, okay, she's a mom.
Yeah, pretty
She doesn't
much.
she doesn't have the smart ass mouth of Andrea. She doesn't have the turnaround story. And I know you say you want to talk about her. The turnaround story of Carol going from this
Oh, I
victim
can
to
talk about
being
Carol
this
now.
thing.
Now that we're done talking about T Dog, we can go to Carol. I mean, she
um,
really is like she's the show, really. Like, I mean, these
Carol
people
and
start
Daryl.
one way and she's something complete. She's a fucking monster now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you went beyond Glenn, like she,
But I
I'll
heard
say it,
because my brother still watches it. They like she
yeah,
is like,
some band of people like robbed her of her like wedding ring or some shit like that,
hmm
and she went out there tonight in the night and burned all of them, and then they just show her the next like day, and she got the ring back, and it's like, bitch, you
so like you
savage.
could tell. Like remember when she left and like when the people pulled her over in the car and she was like, please don't do this. Like please don't do this. But she was also
Hmm.
talking about don't make me kill you. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? She's like, don't like I'm trying to get away from this like killing people thing because they finally was sitting on her spirit. And like,
Hmm.
you know, she's like, I'm really not even worried about surviving. I'm worried about what y'all gonna make me survive. Like Carol's gonna walk the fuck away, like, but y'all gonna have me out here like wilding on y'all to walk away.
Really? It's like, you know
Like,
who the fuck I am? You don't know?
like
Okay, you don't know what you're
yeah,
messing with. All right. But yeah,
like
Carol is that
seriously,
bitch, Kwame.
she
Yes,
is.
she is. She's
Um,
fierce as fuck. And she
when
just, I
they
mean, the beginning, she was like that abused
timid,
housewife. She was so timid.
yeah,
She didn't want to, like, she was so quiet and like she was a
no
mother,
confrontation,
you know.
no anything. Like she was a
She lost
wreck.
her child
Yeah,
and she got a new
she
one ish. Uh,
with the two little girls.
nah, she kind of like took over like helping to raise a boy in the newer ones, but you know,
Okay. Because
so
remember, she got the two little girls, but then the one girl had the mental fucking whatever, where she loved the
yeah, she was
walkers, and
crazy.
I probably would have killed her without needing to know that she killed her sister first, and I just don't want nobody. Allegedly, I would have killed
Hmm.
her.
Now, what's the name of that the man that was with her? Because see, that's the thing. Like the black male characters
That was
came and went so quick.
Sasha's. That was Sasha's brother. I don't remember. I want to say his. I don't even want to
Um,
call him Tyrone, but I think his name is fucking
I think it
Tyrone.
was Tyrone, but it
T
was
Dog
Cuddy
Tyrone,
From the cut from the wire. There's a lot of folks from the
like.
wire on this. So yeah, he played Cuddy from the cut in the wire, and yeah, I mean, I like seeing him on stuff. I love seeing him act. He's on The Expanse right now. I think he's a great actor. I like seeing him and
But he
shit.
is.
Same with um, the nerd guy that died in the grocery store, the black dude. Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. He was on The Wire as well. He was like in the first season of The Wire. Damn it, I'm gonna bring this shit up. God damn it,
Yeah,
because
because
I can't
I'm
remember.
losing. He died in a grocery store? I'm trying to think.
Dante, Deon. Oh yeah, the yeah this guy. I'm sorry, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Show it. Oh
Okay.
no, fucking touchpad. Shit, I hate this. Yeah, that guy. Who played
That's
D'Angelo Barksdale on The Wire. He was
that's
on for a
him.
hot minute.
That was the
Huh?
one Sasha was in love with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but he was not an alcoholic too.
Yeah, that's what he was the
And
alcoholic thing there.
yeah,
Yeah. Got leg
and
issues.
he like got killed off pretty quick. Like I'm like, oh shit, old boy from The Wire.
Yeah.
Like I love The Wire, so you giving me people I want to watch. And you know, he came and went, and then Cuddy from the Cut came and went. And you know, the only one that stayed, I mean, the priest is from The Wire, but you know, he was a whole ass bitch. Like he wasn't doing that. He was just, and he was very like, he was just an asshole, and he was evil. Like he was
Yeah.
always trying to scheme on Rick, and
Yeah.
like, and then what's his name? Everybody hates Chris. He came and
I
left too.
was no, I was ridiculously sad about that. When I say like really sad, because like I guess it was for me like seeing everybody hates and seeing him in this. and seeing how he grew as an actor. And
Yeah.
like his character was also interesting. Like they gave him, which was I guess was kind of up in a way, but they really gave him a lot of backstory in his little bit of fucking time there. Like, they went to his house, they talked about his parents, like, that bond he even had with oh my god, he had with Sasha and oh my god, I can't think of that girl's name. But like he like these personal relationships that he was building to be a part of the team, and then I'm just like, he's gone.
Just out of I don't even remember this person. I have to go back. Now I'm on a
It
whole
was
other
sad
article
when
right
Beth
now.
died. It was sad when Beth died.
I don't Beth? Oh, Carol's daughter. Is that no, who's Beth?
Beth is Maggie's sister.
Oh, right. Yes.
When she
See. Oh wait, I got the wrong tab. Give me 1 second, y'all. There is oh, hold on. What am I doing here? I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring up these pictures because the way this thing works is weird. So yeah. I don't know who this woman is. Jackie? I don't. Do you remember her?
No.
I mean, apparently she died. I'm assuming she's like from the initial camp in the beginning. They just have a whole article listing like all the black people that died. Big Tiny, don't remember him. He was kind of forgettable. T-Dog, we already went there. Did he lose weight? Was he always this small? I always thought T-Dog was like a bigger, like heavier dude.
I thought T-Dog was solid. That was part of the reason I liked him.
Andrew, don't know who that is. Wow, yeah, like look at all these black characters that died. Oh my God. Oh, this is Morgan's son, right?
Oh yeah, he got ate by his mother finally. Well, not finally. I don't mean like luckily, but like unfortunately, he was eaten by his mother after a while.
Wow. I mean, there's more black characters than we know. Yeah, that's right. It was Bob. Tyrese, not Tyrone. Tyrese. And then, yeah, Noah. Everybody hates Chris.
I was really sad about that. Really sad.
I think that's it. But yeah, just the way it went down, it was like, oh yeah, nothing's gonna happen, and then they get to see
Sasha ended up dying too.
Sasha. Oh yes. After the Glenn incident, she did.
Yeah, my brother told me.
She went out in a way that was like big. Like
wasn't
she
it
went
like
out
sacrificial for everyone at
yes.
the same time anyway? Wasn't she the black sacrifice savior?
I guess that's just what in the land of the Walking Dead. That's what black people are there for: sacrifice their lives for everyone else.
I was gonna say T-Dog sacrificed his life for Carol.
And everybody, I know he has a name. Damn it, I just don't remember the Everybody Hates Chris actor, but he sacrificed himself too. At the entrance of the mall, he was like, "Go!" Like he stayed and voluntarily got ate by that horde to save her.
That was the guy who was pushing the other end of the door. Like, yeah, because I just saw that the guy was pushing the other end of the door open.
But like he told them not to come back for him though. Like he could have allowed them to endanger themselves, and he just said, "Go, I got this," and then he got eaten alive. Like sacrificial lamb as well. So that's a troubling trend there, Walking Dead. We gotta change that.
Do a little better, except for Michonne. Michonne is the person that they won't touch.
But they did. Michonne.
I mean, she's still alive though, right?
She is alive, but she's not the badass that people who read The Walking Dead expected her to be, and it's a little different.
Yeah, so I just mean in the terms of like that. Yeah, I know that they're probably they probably tamed her to be palatable to a white audience.
For sure, yes, I think that's what it is, and it is what it is. I'm hoping that Rick is going to come back. So that's where we're at right now. Rick is away. He did not voluntarily go away, so he's away and alive. Right? Huh?
He was taken, right?
Yes. So hopefully he comes back.
He's filming his movie.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he's going to do movies because he doesn't want to be away from his family as long as doing a series.
Mm.
They say he's going to be doing movies.
Now,
Um,
I did the I wonder if I got pictures of that. The Walking Dead has I lived in Atlanta for a bit, and I'm sorry, I just got a message. Yeah. So I lived in Atlanta for a while, and they had this thing called the Walking Dead experience. Oh, hold on, they missed somebody. Didn't this dude get killed too? Um, hold up. You know the guy that played Dr. Dre on Straight Outta Compton? He had that really bad wig of like dreads on.
oh.
Oh, that was so ugly. Yeah, this guy. I think he died too.
I that's unfortunate, but I couldn't keep looking at that way, so I'm okay.
Oh,
That's
it
the
was
same with
so
Jamar what I had on.
ugly. God, it was so ugly.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I
I,
mean, okay. King Ezekiel, shout out to him. I really thought they were going to discredit him as like some sort of flim flam man. Like, I really thought like he was going to be like, yeah, he's not really a king. He just swindled everybody and he ain't shit, y'all. Like, I thought that's the direction they were going with him. So I know he's post Glenn,
I
but he proved to be all right.
yeah, I don't know. Like I just feel like, and
But he
I
is
guess they're the
crazy.
stars. I guess they're the stars. Like, Rick, Carol, Daryl, like that core group of people. So I guess they have to kind of tell the perspective like through them more so. But like, I feel like I don't know. Like they didn't really. I don't know. Like even Andrea, like I kind of felt like her death was a little unnecessary. I guess it added to like conflict and stuff, but I was like, I don't think
Hmm.
that was a good enough time for her. Like even if she was to, I don't think that was the time for her to die. I don't know if that's how she died in the comics. I didn't read the comics of The Walking Dead,
Hmm.
but I think that she had been in enough situations and the way her personality was that she would have been okay in there, even though she turned into a walker and stuff. She was literally like a second away from getting the handcuffs off of her, and I felt like she would have known how to finesse to get a walker away from her for long enough. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of felt for like a certain amount of value just to have her die. I don't know.
Okay.
The
Yeah. I
only
mean,
person that really
I,
needed to die was Lori.
yes. And once upon a time, I was sharing a meme with the hashtag "Please kill Carl." Like Carl was annoying. He was an annoying child, but he turned out to be a pretty fucking badass teenager. God damn. Like he was cool as fuck right up to the
Okay,
end. Like when he became a teenager, he was cool as fuck. And like he was one shot and everybody. Boom. He was just a straight up badass. Like he was actually a de facto leader of Alexandria for a little bit while Rick was gone. Like he was calling the shots. Michonne is calling the shots because he's not there. But like he was leading them and he was cool. Like they made Carl cool. But in the beginning, no.
but he was a child. What did you want him to be?
It's that middle period before being a child and like being somebody who can actually do shit and like that 10 to 12-year-old range before like where you think you are getting bigger and you think you have certain abilities and then like but you don't and this world is dangerous as fuck and it's just like come on Carl, just stop being annoying. Just stop trying to be. He was just annoying as fuck to me. I'm sorry, but he's cool as hell. He is cool as fuck now. Like the way he went out. Wow, wow, wow.
Unpopular opinion, I think
Okay.
Judith should have died pretty early on.
No, we don't do that on this podcast. That is not
What?
what we're doing here. So it's been nice talking to you. I'm gonna have to take her off, everybody. So, on this show, we do not say Judith should die because she's a cool fucking kid on that show. She's a badass in her own right. I'm bringing her back on now. I'm
No,
sorry, I'm just fucking with
I
Stacey,
don't.
y'all.
I don't like. I don't like the unnecessary like baby thing.
Well, I mean, she's like, I don't know, 9 years old now. She's like a whole ass. They did a time jump where she's like a kid and kind of a little badass, and like she kind of like her relationship with Negan is really cool, and
That's
I enjoy
disgusting.
that.
That's
I
disgusting.
know, I
That's why.
know.
That's why I will never watch it. Like that's disgusting. The fact that Negan is still alive, based off of the fact that like Rick took a machete to somebody's head for pushing him, and Negan is still alive, and Negan's the one who wore Glenn out. Nope. That's why
Oh,
I'm
that
done.
was a whole ass thing because when Rick was like, "I'm just gonna slit your throat, but then I'm gonna call the doctors in to fix you up," Maggie was pissed. Like she was
As
mad.
she should have
She was
been.
mad.
Like,
She was
why are
upset.
we doing that? Like that's so unnecessary. Like I think it's because like it's one of those things like True Blood. Like Lafayette is such like a fan favorite that they
Yes.
carried Lafayette to the end of the season. Lafayette died in the first book of True Blood. But his character
Really?
was his character was so popular on the show, they kept him through the entirety of the show. I think that's kind of what happened with that, I guess.
Lafayette was so dope. He was so
Love
fucking
Lafayette.
dope.
I
Oh my
love Lafayette.
god! Like rest in peace,
We're not going
brother.
to talk about True Blood because I can definitely get into that. Like, we're not
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've rewatched the show multiple times. I was watching it as it was new, like because it was such an interesting premise. I'm sorry, we'll go with Walking Dead, or actually, the anime version of Walking Dead really, to me, really is Attack on Titan. It kind of has Walking Dead as like it gives me that. So, if anybody out there is a Walking Dead fan, definitely check out Attack on Titan. It's pretty dope. But yeah, back to the TWD. Um, what was it? Oh, I saw something on. I'm in like a Black Netflix group, and
hmm
they were talking about The Walking Dead today, and they were like, "Yeah, so what's up with Rick showing up again and Shane just falling back and taking like a secondary position?" And like they was just pretty much just they was downing on Shane for being the leader, and then just like automatically submitting the moment Rick showed up. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, but Shane is the father, so who really won? No, I had to throw out my little Maury. I love Maury, y'all. I'm a fucking piece
I
of shit for that. I know.
Number one, Shane is a creep. Lori's a creep. Um,
Yes, they're both
because that
deplorable
really
people. Yes.
like that shouldn't have like I don't even know how you get that way over like I don't know that's weird. Um, See, and this is the thing. Okay, so problematically, like I said, I didn't necessarily need Judith there. Honestly, conflict would have been greater in a character development if the baby had died for Rick. Um, but I feel like had it been me, I would have, knowing that the baby is Shane's and everyone can tell. If Lori had survived, I would have been like, "Here's a backpack, here's keys to a car. You and Judith can get it how y'all live." See you.
What?
I'm not doing
Man,
that.
that's gangster
I'm not
as
doing that. I'm not doing that.
fuck. You get rid of him? What? Come
No, ma'am.
on. That little
No,
girl
I
still
don't.
needs a father. Come on now.
Her father's dead, just like you said. You
Oh,
said it's Shane's father.
ain't that a
I mean,
bitch?
Shane's the father. So
Oh, come on now. Oh.
I just don't.
Oh, I know Lori was trash, but goddamn, the baby ain't do nothing to him. And she's a really cool character. I really do like her character now. They took what Carl had and gave it to her, but she's not an annoying child like Carl was.
All
So
children are annoying, but I understand what you're saying. Like on
y'all
there. I mean
something else.
on there. All the kids are annoying on there.
You and Kwame, y'all are something else with this Kill Judith thing. That's crazy, man. Come
That's
on
my
now.
brother. That's my brother.
Oh, see, y'all, come on now, man. Come on,
Because
man. Y'all doing too much trying to kill off the baby.
it's necessary.
Nah, man, nah. Like Tyrese died for that baby, didn't he? Didn't he die to protect her or some shit like that? Like he.
No, he lost his mind and was in a house. Remember? He
Oh
had a
wait, no,
delusion.
no. He died like he had to shoot himself because he was sick. Either he got bit or something like that. Like he died by
Yeah, he
himself
was
in a room.
bleeding out, and yeah.
Yeah. So
That's when he was having those delusions about certain stuff.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Which
Even
Crazy
though that
Black.
was really to me, I actually didn't like. Yeah, no, I didn't like that thing either. Like you see him having that, and you see Sasha. So it's like, is there a history of mental illness in your family?
Right? But look, the show does do a really good job at bringing in new characters that you can give a fuck about, though. Like real talk, like the newer characters, they like the people and the kingdom and Alexandria and all these communities. Like
Oh,
you
like
can give a fuck about.
Central and because is that where Maggie is? Is that what she was
Yeah,
like
the
the hill
hilltop.
on?
Well, that's where
Yeah.
she was. I don't think she ain't on the show no more either. Like they
Well,
just
she's
said,
coming
oh,
back this thing. They negotiated her contract to pay her more, so she's coming back.
because it's like yeah,
But they
she
said it's
just
going to
took her
be a
baby and
problem with
left.
Negan still being there, and Negan is a prominent person in the group now, I guess.
Well, I don't know how that Negan thing's gonna turn around, but
Like
he
Carol and Daryl, like I don't even feel like Carol and Daryl let that Negan shit ride. Like Daryl was ready to fuck somebody up over some lesser shit. Like I just don't understand, and it shows me it's like, did y'all really not give a fuck about Glenn? Like remember when they had that argument? Him and Glenn and Maggie had the argument. Like they see you as a sacrifice. That's why if anybody needs to go down to a well to draw a walker out, they know they're gonna send Glenn. Like it was like that kind of thing. Like Glenn died and no one gave a fuck.
yeah. I mean, he was that dude. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Glenn and Maggie's baby. The baby is allegedly still alive in the show. Rick and Michonne's baby is alive as well. So they have a little, yeah, she got pregnant, and so they got a baby too, or a toddler. So it's a whole thing. But look, since Kwame's the only one with us here right now, we kind of talked Walking Dead. We walked everybody on up out this thing.
So, did you see the new show? I didn't watch any, like World's End or Open World or World something.
For
There's like a
what?
new, like,
What's the
cause
new Walking
okay,
Dead
so
show?
yeah, like there's Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, which I've never
Yeah.
watched. So, and there's another one called like World something.
No, I haven't seen that one. I tried to watch Fear the Walking Dead, and I couldn't. I didn't like the actor, the main actor from it. Is the Indian guy
Morgan.
or no? It was he's one of those racially ambiguous dudes. So I think he's like Indian, but he plays Mexican guy sometimes. So like he was the main dude from Training Day that was like, yo, that's my little sister, my little cousin.
Um,
And then, on another movie, he'll play like a Latin, like government type dude. And then,
right.
but I just, I didn't like him. And he kind of took me out of it. So maybe I'll try it again. I mean, I know they have some crossover. So,
Yeah, I don't watch it. I don't plan on watching it. I'm not. Okay, so no. Here's my thing. I don't want people. I don't like zombies. I don't like the genre.
oh,
I started watching The Walking for like the story, the people story, how they handle it and stuff like that. Like I
no.
really,
The people who took Rick are they're in the new show. And
yeah, that's what they were saying.
Mecca just joined us here. So I'm going to let her in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for
Hi.
making it.
Hey.
Yeah, so we're just talking about The Walking Dead, and all that stuff. So we kind of just, in general, are Walking Dead folks right now. So that's what we're really on. We kind of covered a whole lot of things, and we're just talking about what we like and what we don't like about the show now. So
Okay, so right now we're talking. Did y'all talk? I'm gonna guess that you guys already like talked about like Marvel stuff and other
yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah, we did
Okay.
all that. In fact, I was going to wrap up here pretty quickly, but I want to get your. You were when we were talking, you had some really good thoughts. When we were talking on Clubhouse, you had some really good thoughts about like, gosh, I forget what it was. It had something to do with like just black characters in Marvel, and
I think.
Representation.
was it representation? Okay,
See, yeah, I think I was talking about black characters even in general, like
okay,
just the way that they're often. Okay, so in general, I think it's the way. I think I was more focused on Hollywood, like what happens every time they kind of transfer to the TV screen, how
hmm
that representation alters, right? Like, because I feel like when it comes down to comic books, I think about, or books even, like I think about certain series that I feel like are prominent. Now, as far as like, I can't say much about Marvel's represent. I mean, we could always do with more representation. I do personally now, Stassi, because you're like me, you read Marvel comics, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do like the black storylines in the Marvel comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that they are pretty like complex, like, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that when they do get on, like, I love Storm's interaction with the Black Panther. Like, remember how like the old
Mm-hmm.
version, like when he was like still like the whole getting chased by the Ku Klux Klan and all that.
Right,
Like,
right. And she saved him.
a crossover, yeah. I like that. Um, I like those elements, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even gonna really, but I think when I talk about it, because I don't want to focus on any specific genre. I just know it's in a lot. Like I was talking about The Walking Dead, for example, right? That was horrible black representation. Like it was really bad. Like, or even when I think of other series, like just there's multiple other series that I can think of where I don't always enjoy the black representation, like how it transfers over. When I think
Mm-hmm.
of A Song of Ice and Fire from Game of Thrones, and I think about some of the things that had the black characters who are more complex, and I think about certain characters' roles in the show and how they kind of were more silent. It was just there was a lot of things, or certain characters that were had so much more character growth and like so much more spice to them, and they take all that and they turn them into nothing but a pure support system for the
Mm-hmm.
right character. I don't like that. That annoys me.
Yeah, same here. And that's what I told I had an argument about how white Game of Thrones really was with a friend, and I'm like, look, he's like, yeah, but you got to consider the land and where it's at and the people and whatever. I said, dude,
Oh,
this
what?
shit's all fake. You can make any character you want black. This is fantasy.
You're gonna tell me that they're traveling all across these places and you're gonna come across any type of royalty that's like of color, but but that's what I'm saying. In the book series, it had a very complex like
Mm-hmm.
storyline with like these royal blood color folk that came from all types of different tribes and stuff, and they had so much lore behind them and their role in how they helped hide Daenerys and everything, like Daenerys and her brother, and all, there's just such a much more complex storyline. So you can't tell me you couldn't do it. It's
Yeah,
more whether or not you're going to, whether
absolutely.
you care to. So
I only watched the first season, and I didn't like it.
Ooh, all right.
I didn't like it. I
So
didn't like it.
I'm not.
somebody's going in the timeout box again.
Let's not.
All right. Now, us actual, Game of Thrones folks here. See, that is an unforgivable sin.
I didn't find it interesting. I'm sorry. I didn't.
You
I
felt
didn't
nothing
because
when Eddard Stark got killed. You weren't giving a fuck.
Expecting you to say
no.
that.
Okay, so the first season when he got killed, I was like, oh wow, like that was like whatever. But it's so okay for me. It's so much going on that I wasn't invested in any one character to have a perspective from, and so I didn't like any particular character. I thought like, oh, the story is for them. Like the story was like okay, but I'm really not into like power struggle stories.
So you're
So I
not
guess
like
that
so you
Yeah. Yeah.
so for you, you're not one of those people. You like the action. You like the folk on a show that's more about the action than it is about the politics.
I'm more about like character development, but based off of like what the subject matter is. And being just like, the throne, the power stuff, like that doesn't interest me. Like I don't doubt that there's character development in there, but the subject matter of what the
Right?
character development was around, I didn't get into it.
Okay. So I get what you're saying. You're very much into character development. You like to focus very much on the character. And I will say that Game of Thrones, even the books, like it is more focused on the lore and the complexity of a government society. And it's the way that they do it in a way where people who are going through things in our own society, we can all relate. But if that's not your thing, then okay. But you know what I was about to say before you said that you wasn't interested? I was gonna say, because of how disappointed I was in the last couple like the last seasons, like I would say my disappointment slowly started to turn after season 5. And then it went down, like, because, and then the worst part is, I feel like when you're somebody that's kind of been devoted to a series, the sad part is knowing in deep down inside that they're never going to finish the book, at least to give you the right ending that it deserved, because the last season was garbage. Okay, like it already started going down. It was like the second the writers, who are now evil in everybody's eyes, but the second they ran out of source material, basically after you know what happened with Jon Snow, basically after that, you know, that's where the book ended too. So after that, when they ran out of source material, trash. Like it was just slowly, like you were like, okay, like whatever. And then
do you think they can like do a version of, like, I would accept an animated version of it that would maybe start at where the narrative split,
retcon whatever they did on the show and redo that shit.
the whole thing.
Yeah, they need to redo it. It was like they needed to redo everything from the Jon Snow part. Like they just need to retcon it.
Because, I mean, it's fine.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I can go in the living room. You can sleep.
I really didn't. And I like medieval stuff, but I just, it wasn't my bag. I tried it though. I did like the whole complete season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, at least you gave it an honest shot. I just never liked I never liked the dragons and all that stuff either. Like, because I mean, look, I will say I'm kind of adverse to that kind of stuff because it's like overly like white culture kind of junk. And it's like all the shit that I was like spoon fed, you know, through society anyways. And I just never got into it. I'm just like, I'm good. Like if Game of Thrones was based in Asia, I wouldn't have hesitated to try it out. But, you know, it was just good. They had me. I got in there and they just had me. It was a drama. You know, they pushed the kid off the ledge. You know, the incest part, the kingdom part, all the political, like all that stuff where, you know, Eddart's trying to like make sure that everything goes right the way that it should, and finding like the actual son of this guy, and like it was pretty dope. So I fucks with it hardcore, but you know,
I can see how people enjoyed it. Like I can see why that was like a thing.
But you know, Kwame says it's slightly overrated. I get it. Again, it's one of these things where it's like it's really good, and then some series do fall off, but you're like, I have to finish it. I already invested all this time into this. I can't let the story go undone.
I get that. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Sophie Turner played Jean Grey, and I wanted to kill her for that.
I just don't. Now this one, I don't mind.
She's not a good actress.
She's not a good actress, but I don't think she's all that pretty either. That like big head she got really like takes me, like I couldn't even. Her big head was distracting me from enjoying my XMen movies, and I'm like, why are we doing
big head? Her eyes are too close. Her chin is a little sharp. She has thin lips. Her hands are big. She's not shaped well. I don't like it. Her voice, she talks like she has a mouthful of shit.
Oh, god damn.
I don't like anything about her.
President of the Sophie Turner Hate Club over here.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But as far as what Mecca was said, like I do agree, like with like how people translate the black characters onto. But I think that's what's about the way they try to make them palatable for the majority of white audiences. Like I think that is what happens.
You know what? That's what they were saying about the Spider-Man, the Miles Morales. I'm sorry, the video game, the PlayStation game that just came out, because they had the Spider-Man game for PlayStation only. Then they made a follow-up with Miles Morales. But the big thing there was, you know, his character, when his character was created, like his dad's a cop. But in these times, your dad is a black cop and you're a superhero. Like, how do we not address what's happening with police and black people? And how do we just avoid and not say anything? Like, so that was one of those situations where they just completely avoided something that would have been would have made it a lot more realistic, just for the sake of pleasing white audiences and not offending people.
I think it's like not a catch-22, but I think it's a thing where that is very like heavily prevalent in our in our society, especially like everything that happened, like the Sandra Bland and the Joy Floyds and like all of these different things. But I will say, and it's not to diminish that, like I don't want people to say that, but in their world, we can't say that those people existed and that those things happened in that way. You know what I mean? Like in that specific way. Like I just like I understand that they should at least have had like a conversation or something about it in a general sense. But I like who's to say that it's based specifically off of what we're experiencing in our world. You know what I mean? Just in that regard.
Fair enough.
For certain things. Because I don't know if you've ever watched the show The Gifted. But it was X-Men based. It was pretty. I liked it. I really liked it. The characters, of course, are like B, C, D list mutant people that you probably like. You know what I mean? I think the most well-known character on there was probably Polaris or the Stepford Cuckoos. I would say were probably the most well-known characters on there.
The casual people like myself do not know that.
But did you watch the cartoons and stuff? Oh, I don't know if you watched like Wolverine and the X-Men or anything like that.
I watched that one too. I watched all the animated media, even the fucking X-Men Evolution. Watched that beginning to end. I've seen it all. It's just I don't know those guys, but
yeah, like Polaris is Magneto's daughter. She has the same powers as Magneto.
She was the diluted one that was like left over after everything was done. She was a younger kid that he spoiled, pretty much. Yeah. So, but we're going to wrap this up because we have been going for like an hour and a half. But I want to thank everybody for hanging on and fucking with us on this nerd talk stuff, and we'll be back to trans talk stuff a little bit later. Oh wait, Mecca's back. Wait, I'm sorry, she's muted still. You have to unmute your mic.
I'm sorry.
There you go. Oh, it's cool. It's no good. We're just wrapping up anyway. So yeah, Stacey, tell everybody where they can find you. Or do you want people to find you? I don't know. If you guys have anything to promote, by all means, promote.
Yeah, I was pronouncing it Stacey. I'm so sorry. I said it's Stacey.
Is it Stacey or Stacey? I just
Stacey,
assumed.
but people call me Stacey, but like Stacey.
Cool. But yeah, if y'all got something to promote, by all means, promote and tell everybody where they can find you. No, all right.
I have nothing to promote. I'm just a nerd for nerd's sake.
Okay, so I ain't gonna promote that here, but my name is Mecca Sky. You know what? No, I won't do it here. All right,
okay. That's all good. No worries. I was just putting it out there. You never know what kind of podcast, brand, whatever the hell people got up out here, and I just kind of invited y'all on real quick, so it's all good. Well, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will catch y'all again. We'll probably try and do a little Black Nerd powwow, probably like another month or two. So it's always great to just talk and have conversation on things that really just don't have anything to do with attraction to trans women, trans community stuff. Like, we are all people that we're multifaceted people, and we like things. So
next time I want to have a complex conversation.
No.
Right?
So on this channel we do that, but with the men only, because this is the Men Like Us podcast. So we'll at some point we'll incorporate women into the conversation. I've tried it a couple times, but I think the issue was really just vetting people, and it's just really rough. So
no, actually, I meant having a complex conversation about the shit that I missed.
Oh, about the nerd stuff. Oh, good. Yeah, no, we can definitely do the nerd stuff again, y'all, and we'll collab on that, and we'll be on Clubhouse and we can talk about it. So Actually, everybody, please do follow me on Clubhouse. I am at MLU Chris.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yep, you can find me at MLU Chris on Clubhouse. Brothers out there watching, by all means, follow me. Ladies out there watching, follow me. I'm going to start doing some different rooms out there. And
I do have something to promote.
All right. Have at it.
Yeah, my own Clubhouse. Okay. You can find me at Mecca Sky. My name, MEKA, and then Sky, SKY. You can follow my Twitter, which is _ Big Booty Tech Nerd. And you know what? Support OnlyFans.
There you go.
Big Booty Tech Nerd. There you go.
There,
and it's in my bio. Okay. OnlyFans.com // Big Booty Tech Nerd. Boom. All right.
All right, y'all, support. So, yep, that's where y'all can find everybody here. Thanks for watching. Again, thanks for watching. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook, Instagram, all that. Leave a 5-star review. We'll be back with some more conversations about things affecting the trans community. But also, we're going to be back with some more fucking nerd conversations because we're nerds and we like talking about this shit. So, until next time, y'all, peace.
Bye.